How to play the G major chord. When you see the G major chord referred to in chord charts and tablature and guitar music, it's usually referred to as simply G. Here's how to play it. Firstly, place the first finger on the second fret of the A string. Then, place the second finger on the third fret of the bottom E string. That's the thickest string. Next, place the third finger in the third fret of the top E string. That's the thinnest string. Initially, this might take a while to do because it's a big reach and you might need to maneuver your fingers into place. Once you think you've got the chord, strum it to check it's alright. Right, let's do that again, showing the guitar. Firstly, place the first finger on the second fret of the A string. Next, place the second finger on the third fret of the bottom E string. Finally, place the third finger on the third fret of the top E string. Now strum the chord. If your G chord is sounding wrong, let's try and correct it. The first thing you need to do is double check the tuning. Just take your fingers off and check each string to see if it's in tune. Once you're confident your guitar's in tune, the next thing you need to do is reapply the fingers. First finger on the second fret of the A string, second finger on the third fret of the bottom E string, and third finger on the third fret of the top E string. Then strum again. If your G chord still doesn't sound correct, look at your fingers carefully and check that they're located properly. Make sure the fingers are correctly between the frets and they're not overlapping any frets. I realise this might be harder than it sounds because it is a big reach, and if it is, you now need to play around with the position of the thumb to help you with that stretch. What you find is, the further the thumb is round the neck towards the floor, the more the fingers come round and they're forced onto their tips. You also find it opens your fingers out and gives you more reach. Once you find a position where the reach is more easily attainable, you might find it quite uncomfortable. Don't worry about it, stick with it and keep practicing. It will get easier and it will feel more and more comfortable as you play. If your G chord still isn't sounding correct, or it is sounding correct and you just want to check it thoroughly, play each string one by one. This way you'll be able to locate any dead strings or any strings which don't sound right, and then you can correct the issue. If you've got dead strings, this will be down to one of two things. If it's a fingered string, you need to press slightly harder, obviously making sure the finger is correctly located between the frets. However, if it's an open string, one of the fingers must be leaning across it in order to mute it. So you need to bring your fingers round onto their tips by bringing the thumb round. As you adjust the fingers, keep restrumming the chord to see if you've got it correct. Or if you prefer, you can play the strings individually like you did before. If you're still struggling to get your G chord to sound correct, or if you're really struggling with the reach, there is another way of playing it. The alternative way of playing the G is this. You place the second finger on the second fret of the A string, then you place the third finger on the third fret of the bottom E string, then you play the little finger, the fourth finger, on the third fret of the top E string. This hopefully will help you if you're having real difficulty with the reach. So let's show it again on the guitar. Firstly, the second finger goes on the second fret of the A string, the third finger goes on the third fret of the bottom E string, and the little finger, the fourth finger, goes on the third fret of the top E string. Now strum the chord. Whichever way you end up playing the G chord, it's all good, as long as it sounds correct and you enjoy playing the guitar.